For me, number one, jack of all trades right here. This is a Gamakatsu hybrid worm hook. Anytime you've got a longer shank when you're trying to catch a fish, you're gonna have a lot better hookup ratio, a lot better landing ratio. What's up guys, I'm Michael Neal here at Real Deal Tackle. We get a lot of questions, especially from beginners, about what kind of hooks to use for what applications. And I'm gonna go over 4 basic hooks that I always have in my boat, and these are really and truly the hooks that I use probably 95+% of the time. For me, number one, jack of all trades right here. This is a Gamakatsu hybrid worm hook. So the hybrid comes from, it's a cross between an EWG and a round bend. A lot of guys have a lot of questions when to use an EWG, when to use a round bend. I've put a lot of time in fishing this hook, and it just seems like it's the best for any application. Whether you're throwing a Carolina rig, a Texas rig, even a swimming worm, anything like that that doesn't involve, flipping heavy cover, things like that. This hook is not designed for that. It's a lighter wire, but it's a tournament grade wire, so it's a strong hook, but still maintaining that thin diameter, so you get easy hookups. And that's a big deal with that hybrid design too, is, sometimes the EWG, people don't like it. They think they don't hook them as good, but this one right here is kind of like the old school O'Shaughnessy bend a little bit, and that's my jack of all trades for anything that's just a Texas rig, Carolina rig, swing head, things like that. Now if I'm flipping this G-Power punch right here, this is one that you can flip on both braid and fluorocarbon, so it's a do-it-all hook for me. And again, it's not a super heavy gauge wire, but it's tournament grade wire as well. So you can get away with a little bit thinner diameter, still have a lot of strength. So if you're flipping with fluorocarbon or braided line, this hook's perfect for that. One thing I forgot to mention, if you're within doubt, pretty much go with a 4/0. A 4/0 with a worm hook, whether it's a flipping hook or the hybrid, either one, you can get away with a 4/0 in just about any baits. Sometimes you may have to go a little bit bigger if you're throwing a 10-inch worm, things like that. I may go up to like a 6, but for all around starting point, 4/0 in both a flipping hook and a regular worm hook. So for a drop shot, a lot of guys for a lot of years used to use the real small, like the drop shot actual hook, that was the name of it, or a mosquito hook, things like that. But that's, to me, I never really liked that. This one right here is the light wire worm hook from Gamakatsu. So the 1/0 is where I tend to land with this. If I'm going to use a real small bait, like a smallie smasher or a thresher worm, something like that, especially for smallmouth, instead of nose hooking like the old school way, I would just go ahead and thread that up on there. And to me, with threading, anytime you've got a longer shank when you're trying to catch a fish, you're going to have a lot better hookup ratio, a lot better landing ratio. The longer the shank, the better off you're going to be, as long as you can get away with it. And with this hook also, if you're throwing your more traditional things like a cliffhanger or a robo worm, you can get away with just straight Texas rigging it. I personally don't think that I ever throw, a regular style drop shot worm without just Texas rigging it. I can throw it through any kind of brush, any kind of cover. Don't have to worry about my hook getting hung up. So to me, that light wire worm is my go-to. And then same principle with the wacky worm. I like something with a shank. A lot of guys you've seen in the past throw things like the Wicked Wacky or things like that, more kind of circle style hooks with a wacky worm. But to me, this right here, the stinger hook, it's available just regular plain stinger without a weed guard and the weedless stinger. Whatever your personal preference is, I typically go without the weed guard. I just feel like sometimes those fish can feel that weed guard a little bit, and to me, the size number 1 in that is where I'm going to land, and that's anything from 4-inch, small worms like the skinny stick, the 5-inch trick sticks and Cincos. And even if I go up to, like a Nico Rama 7-inch worm, that number 1 is just a great all-around size for me. A lot of guys think you've got to go really big when you get in those bigger worms. Not the case. You're throwing, spinning rods, lighter lines. Doesn't take much to hook them with a number 1. So hope this answers some of your questions. Just kind of a basic beginner's guide to what I think are some of the best hooks out there and how I approach how to choose a hook and my outlook on it. So stay tuned for more information.